All right, good morning, everybody. I believe we had a little bit of data today. Let me see. We had unemployment at 198 over 215. Manufacturing at 7.7 over 0.8. Philly Fed at 12.6 over negative 1.6, so pretty high there. And then import prices 0.4 over negative 0.1. Rest of the day, we just have Fed talks for the most part, nothing too crazy. Taking a look at ES here, we have a very strong one-directional movement, a trend profile on the pre-market, putting in about 4 nodes, all one-directional. We have completely retraced Tuesday's value. We are nearly retracing... sorry about that. We're nearly retracing... What day is that? Monday. So we're about halfway done with Monday as well. Keep an eye on 70.24. Alright, let's see here. We definitely have to update our levels. So let's say we're going to use Tuesday's value. So we're going to say 7,008 for the upper level and 86 for the lower level. And then above that, we go into 24, and that prior high is 36. And then below, we go into 72, and let's see here. Probably the prior low, which is around 50. So day shape would be a trend profile. Bias would obviously be bullish unless there is an overnight fade. So we will look for that overnight fade on the open. Okay, so I basically said for the trade plan, if we are holding strong above Tuesday's value, then obviously the trend will continue. But if you're looking very weak right away, then look for that overnight fade, possibly back through these pre-market nodes. If we're inside of Tuesday's value, then obviously just look for the rotations. Same thing on NASDAQ, very one-directional, putting in about 4 nodes, retracing Tuesday's value. So if we stay above that, continue the trend. If we start to look very weak on the open, then obviously it's probably a reversal of the overnight. So we're going to say 950 here. And we're going to say 822 there. Let's go ahead and say Let's take this upper node here. So we'll say like 720. And then we'll say 640. And that should be good. I think I forgot to start my Addis. Give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. Okay, a little bit of sell pressure right away. Not seeing the delta though. Possibly another day where the delta is not following price exactly. Yeah, look at the delta here on the buy side. Very green on that 05 to 06 area. Here is the trade plan for you guys. Good morning, everybody. Want a Patriot, Ordinary, Tachi, Scott, Marcel, Future, Fernando. 24 EMA holding, so that trend is stable for now. Delta is exploding to the upside. Fernando, TS, Ram, Trevor, Morris, Ken, Banana, Leo, Larry, Scott, Greg, Roman. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Sam, AT, Vanquish, eBay, Maverick. Flory, Victoria, Igor, Roger, Orion, DMG, Angelo, Ike. A little bit of sell pressure coming in here, trying to retake that 05 node. Good morning, Boz, Pilot, Peter, Jason, XP, Suzanne, Carrie, Lubmir, Mr. B. Appreciate you guys all being here. I was going to say happy Friday, but today's only Thursday. Would I consider leaving up my charts after 11:30? Well, that's literally what I do in Discord. So we continue the stream in Discord for the rest of the day. YouTube is typically around 9:30 to 11:30, sometimes like 12 o'clock. And then the stream on Discord is until the close, which is until 4 p.m. Yeah, the top one's only 25, filtered for 25. This one's filtered for 100. This one's filtered for 10, I believe. And then the block trades are anything above like 300. And I think that is it. Want a Carini, Chuck, Titus, Builds, Darius? A lot of limit sellers again. We're seeing the same thing we saw yesterday, where there's so much bullish delta coming in, but price is pushing down because of those limit sellers. Starting to lose that trend a little bit on NQ. Buyers kind of being absorbed here on this node at 06. Still holding on to that trend in that 24 on ES. You kind of lost it on NASDAQ, taking out a couple of lows. So right now, we're just kind of stuck inside of Tuesday. We're rotating inside of Tuesday's value. So we need to stay below that level or above that level. The value high or the value low of Tuesday. Anything in between, you're just kind of chopping around. It's basically saying that it doesn't like this value. We left Tuesday, put in a lot of value on Wednesday, but then completely gave it up. Five-minute trail coming up. Keep an eye on those trails, 5-minute and 30-minute. Losing the 1 minute a little bit. 1 minute did a very good job on the pre-market. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 buy signals all played out there. Didn't quite hit the daily trail yesterday, but got very, very close. And that was the bottom. So daily trend is still stable. Okay, buyers losing that upper node at 705. Want a Constantine? Want a Rider? Have not lost a 30-minute low for quite a while. We'll see if they can lose these lows here. The impulse started around the London Open, started at 4 a.m. Still showing a pretty perfect balanced profile here. They're protecting that lower push right back into an upper rotation. Notice the volume drop off here. Very normal for a D shape. Still not seeing the bearish delta on the low here. Rejecting VWAP, even though VWAP is very new. The session VWAP is very far away at 88. 792 on NQ. Okay, failing to rotate. They're not allowing it to rotate back to that upper portion. Let's see if they can stay below that 02. Creating a little bit of a lower tail here. Big bullish block trade there, putting you back into rotation. 1,347 contracts. That was a strong block trade because it came in simultaneously on NASDAQ as well. And there's that first point of origin level that I marked out, damn near the bottom. That was the low that led to the most recent impulse. You impulsed up to 11. About a 20-point move. 15-point move. Okay, here is that rotation being finished on this node here. Are they going to stay above that rotation? That is to stay above 08. Okay, instantly finishing the lower rotation. So still respecting this node here. And because this is the first candle of the day, the 930 candle, this is the cash profile, right? So this candle is the only data you have for the cash profile. So this profile here is the same profile as this here. You're just rotating that cash profile right now. It's a smaller rotation inside of a large rotation, which is Tuesday, right? Turning into a P-shaped profile. NASDAQ reclaiming the EMAs and VWAP. Good morning, Jose. Okay, finishing another lower rotation here. Yet again, is it going to stay below this lower tail? So it has to stay below like 7,000 to 7,002. All right, guys, I got to mute for probably like 5 or 10 minutes. I got something I need to take care of really quick. I'll be right back. Sorry guys, give me 1 second. I need to block my screen for a second. Sorry guys, one more time. I gotta block my screen for a second. Sorry, I'm just dealing with something really quick. You guys aren't missing much. You're just still rotating that upper node, so we need to stay below like 7,000 or stay above 708, 7,008. Be right back in 1 second. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Was dealing with some banking stuff. There was a charge on one of my cards that I just completely did not recognize. But it was just because of the way that it came through. The holidays, like, made it come through pretty late. I thought somebody was stealing my stuff. Had a bunch of weird stuff happen on PayPal recently, so I thought it was PayPal. Which, by the way, if you guys are on PayPal, they leaked like everybody's passwords. Like, what was it, few months ago? It was like 3 to 6 months ago or something like that. If you guys haven't messed with your PayPal since then, you probably want to change all your stuff, get your authenticators and whatnot. I thought that's what was happening. I thought someone was getting into my PayPal and buying a bunch of shit. Okay, thankfully, that was like the best time to have an issue like that because nothing happened. Just rotating a POC here. If it stays below, at this point, I'd say like 99 to 98, you're breaking balance. If it stays above 07, it's breaking balance. Kind of a bulldog, it kind of is, but you don't really have that downward impulse. You're kind of just rotating the POC node. Multitask, yeah, I've been doing it for years. It was definitely really hard when I first started streaming to like stream, trade, read the chat, do whatever else I was doing. But now it's just kind of like second nature. Instagram too, they leak everybody's passwords too. There's been so many leaks recently. You definitely got to check your passwords and everything. Don't have the same password for everything. This one was just weird because it had like a weird transaction name and then it said like California, but I think it was just saying that because of PayPal. And I was like, I definitely have not been in California recently, so. No, it was definitely my transaction. It was just coming in weird because of the holiday. It was something that I did on, I think, like the 28th or something, but it just came in on like the 2nd or 3rd of January. Just got to be really careful with PayPal nowadays, like I was saying. don't have like 5 or 6 cards attached to your PayPal. Still just absolutely glued to this POC here. Yeah, it was like the best time to have an issue. There's just nothing going on. No, we don't really care too much about the block trades right now. It's mostly just the balance. Are we going to hold outside of it or not? Yeah, what we're doing right now is we are building up the capital P shape. So it looks like just a D shape on the cash profile, but if you look at the pre-market, because we had such a large uptrend, it's actually a P-shaped profile. So we still have a slight bullish bias. It just needs to hold above this value high. Still just rotating, failing the value high here. That was the strongest push into the value high we've had in a while, and it just instantly failed. This time around, they have a serious lack and volume on that high. They did a better job the prior candle. Here's what I was saying earlier. You can see because of the overnight, we're more of a P-shaped profile than what it looks like on the cash profile, a D-shaped profile. And now the value lows are kind of lining up with Tuesday. So as long as we protect that, we still have a slight bullish bias, possibly extending that upper tail. So now you don't really have an overnight fade because it's too late in the day. But same idea. If you lose those value lows, the overnight retrace is the obvious target because it's a P-shaped failure. So P-shape, if you lose the low, you typically go down to the absolute low. There's a couple of Fed talks around lunchtime. So if we're not out of this range by then, they might get a little push. Here is that downward rotation. Looking for probably around 7,000, maybe 97. Yeah, poor high and poor low because of how clean this rotation is. It is a near perfect balance. Possibly waiting for VWAP to catch up. VWAP at 93, very close on NASDAQ, 822. AMD has been ripping. Yeah, the chip companies are still doing well. Micron, AMD. I think Intel was doing all right as well. Hey, Ike, have a good day, man. Okay, it's going to try again here for this break of the value high. Pretty decent trend. They are holding above the ADMA. We'll see if it can actually stay above like 707. Still holding that trend for now. Keep an eye on those upper nodes and these EMAs. That upper node at 10 being protected or high repaired. You can see that EMA getting pretty trendy here for a what's supposed to be a balance, right? You're not supposed to trend like that in a balance. So they're trying to break. Now, you could argue the sellers did let them go up a little bit because there's a very small amount of volume in between. Still battling over this upper node here at 10. They're not quite pushing away from it just yet. Five-minute lows starting to be protected. Very slow day. It's not a lack of volume. The volume's not too bad. 161 down to 92. 35 already. Just a lack of news, I guess. Lack of data coming out today. Tomorrow's even worse, to be honest. There's like nothing coming out tomorrow. We don't really have anything too high impact until like next Wednesday, next Thursday. You have the World Economic Forum that's starting on Sunday, Monday, I believe it is. You could have some headlines from that, but that's about it. A little bit of a quiet period for the next few days. This is a good example of why the 30-minute chart helps. Because look at how absolutely sloppy this is. It's a disgusting chart on the 1 minute. But on the 30-minute, especially if you're using the volume profile candles, you can actually see where people are trading. You can see kind of why it's doing what it's doing. Monday's a holiday? Oh yeah, Monday is a holiday, I believe. You are correct. Yeah, a little bit of a slow period until like Wednesday, Thursday. I forgot we had a long weekend. Okay, so 5-minute lows, obviously giving up here. Upper node giving up. Back into rotation. We were able to repair that poor high. Can we repair the poor low? This rotation is nearly complete already. Very fast move down here. Keep an eye on VWAP. If it does get too aggressive here, you will get into VWAP very quickly. Coming up very quickly on NASDAQ, a little bit farther away on ES. They were rotating that node pretty easily, but then they stopped rotating and instantly failed. You can see right here, that's where it stopped rotating, put in a lower high. Here comes VWAP, first VWAP test of the day. You tapped it on NASDAQ, you have not touched it on ES yet. Yeah, the buyers are kind of giving, they're letting this happen for the most part. They're not really fighting this at all. Here's VWAP on ES. That is our first VWAP test in quite a while. Now, is it going to be as perfect as VWAP was yesterday? Yesterday gave you, what, 3 or 4 VWAP trades that were all, like, damn near perfect. You basically had little to no drawdown. You instantly went to your targets. Which, by the way, I'm probably going to make a recap video on that day. Probably tomorrow if I have time. I want to make one either tomorrow or like this weekend, just going over that day. Because it was just a textbook bear flag in a VWAP day. If you guys watched our any of our VWAP videos, really, we talk about it in a lot of videos. Yeah, I think that would be a good day to recap. Very clean. I don't have time today, but hopefully tomorrow or sometime this weekend. Okay, here comes the poor low. We repaired the poor high. Can it repair the poor low? It needs to break through VWAP by a couple of points. Yeah, it'll be the same style of a recap that we used to do. Probably like, what were they like? They were like 20-minute videos, 15, 20 minutes. Just quickly going over the day, what we talked about during the stream, what we talked about in Discord. What were the key points during the day? What trade patterns we saw, stuff like that. Yesterday was just such a perfect VWAP day. It's not unusual for it to give you like 1 or 2 very clean VWAP trades, but yesterday gave you like, what, 3 or 4, and they were like absolutely perfect. And what's great about yesterday is it gave you the different variations. So the first one was like a normal one. I think the second one was like the slower one where it kind of gives you the cupping pattern. Then the third one was like the very fast one where it gives you that very strong push into VWAP, but then it rejected VWAP anyway. So you had like 3 very distinct variations, which was pretty cool. Yeah, they all gave you like 40 points, which is insane. Very good day to be a VWAP trader yesterday. There's the poor low, so yet again, perfect. Perfect balance here. It was near perfect earlier because it had those poor levels. And now it's absolutely perfect because it repaired the poor levels. EOC is about the middle of the day. VWAP is about the middle of the day. It's a very thin candle. They're not fighting too much on this candle. The most obvious node is the one on the high that got taken out. Trying to build a little bit of a node on the bottom here. They kind of let it fall in between. We're seeing that same thing that we saw yesterday. That kind of capital B structure on the 30-minute candles. Where they have a big fight, then they let it move, then they fight again. How many monitors do I have? I have 3 27-inch monitors, and I have a mounted 35-inch ultra wide. My setup looks like this. There's like 3 monitors side by side, and then a mounted 35-inch monitor. This one is for all of my indicators, like my Momo, my OTS, my bots. I have like the correlations, like oil, gold, Bitcoin, stuff like that. This is the monitor that you guys look at all the time. This is my main monitor. The one that you're currently looking at. This one is mainly for like Discord, and then I have like my news and calendar and stuff like that, like economic stuff over here. And then this one's just like whatever I'm doing at the time. So there's like more charts. There is like my stream if I'm watching videos, stuff like that. But yeah, these two that are like front and center, that's like my trading monitors for the most part. And where I actually execute my trades, I have an iPad. So obviously it's not on my monitors. I have a little iPad with a stand right here. So it's kind of like it's almost like a hotkey terminal. So instead of me pressing hotkeys, I just have an iPad that I can just press on the screen. I used to use this as my trading monitor. But it just became kind of a pain in the ass with like my stream and like all my other stuff. So I like just having my trading by itself, nothing else. Like I don't use that iPad for like literally anything else. It is just a trading terminal. So it's good to have it separated. But yeah, that's the setup that I have. Getting a little active here. Maybe a little headline or something coming out. The speed of the tape is ramping up. Do I get brain fog? Brain fog, excuse me. Funny enough, it's mostly on days like this. Like if it's really boring and it doesn't give me something to do, that's worse than if it's like really active. There's like a sweet spot. There's like a sweet spot between if it's way too active, it gets exhausting. If it's not active enough, I fall asleep. I'm getting bored. So it needs to be like in between, where it gives me something to do, but it's not super exhausting. Hey man, what's going on? Yeah, Oasis was very different. The Discord was very different back in the COVID days. Oh no, you don't want to do a room tour. My desk is a disaster. Massive block trade coming in here. 1,500 contracts on the buy side. Something's going on here. I think, let me see. There are a few headlines coming out from like the Treasury. Nothing crazy though. Definitely a ramp up in the speed of the tape. But yeah, also just not my style of content. I don't like getting into my personal life. I don't even use a webcam, right? I'm not showing off my cars or anything like that. None of the cringe content. Yeah, exactly. I like to keep a low profile. I like to just do my thing. I stream basically the same way that I streamed back when I started in 2018. I'm pretty much just talking to myself and you guys are listening. I like to just get on and commentate on what's going on and rinse and repeat. You know what I mean? No sick cars. I don't like wasting money on stuff like that. Like I always say with traders, we work really hard for our money. This is one of the hardest things you possibly could do to earn money. Hard as in like people are going to fail, right? Obviously it's not hard like manual labor. But we work hard for our money. It's not an easy career. I don't like wasting my money on stuff like that. Thoughts on building a trading setup? So if I had to rebuild it from scratch, I would probably just go with like one of those Odyssey monitors, like the really wide, the ultra wide monitors, and then probably get another one mounted. So like two monitors instead of having three separated ones. So like right now I have three separated monitors. I would probably just get one large Odyssey monitor and then probably get another one and mount it. That'd probably be the easiest way to start over. The reason I have them all separated is I bought them one by one. So like I started out with one, then I bought another one, then I bought another one. it's kind of a good thing that they're separated, but you can also do that with like the big monitors nowadays. You can just separate them manually. It does like compartmentalize my stuff. Like every monitor has a purpose. It's also a lot easier for me to curve them. They're all facing me instead of like the curved monitor is barely curved, right? Like these two monitors are like kind of pointed towards me. Like that's pointed towards me, you know what I mean? But if you get a normal monitor, it only has like a very slight curve. Oh, and somebody asked, yeah, I only have one PC. I don't do dual PCs or anything like that. Buying a PC nowadays is probably ridiculously expensive because they raise the prices on graphics cards. The RAM prices are absolutely insane. My computer, funny enough, is probably an appreciating asset at this point. I couldn't imagine building a PC nowadays. Okay, back into that node that we fought over earlier. They were fighting aggressively on 10. Beautiful bounce off VWAP, by the way. Not as clean as yesterday. Definitely not as clean. But here is your target. That prior high target, that prior node. So VWAP trades the past 2 days are 4 for 4. Yeah, SSD price is going up a lot as well. Yep. I was looking at those companies. SanDisk that makes the SSDs. Look at that stock. Holy shit. That stock went from $30 last year. It is $420 right now. It had a Palantir move. And then Samsung, which is not actively traded on the US market, is also skyrocketing. It also had like a 200, 300% move. And then look at Micron, look at Intel, look at AMD, all that stuff. They're all doing well. I have a feeling it's kind of like it's a manufactured problem. I haven't really looked into it too much, but I feel like they could fix that supply problem very easily. But who knows? I know the data centers are eating up that supply like crazy. But I feel like when their stock is going up 1,000% and their earnings are going crazy, they don't really want to fix that supply problem too much. They just want to let it happen. It takes a couple of months to manufacture chips. Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely time constricted for sure. I definitely think there would definitely be an obvious increase in memory, SSDs, all that stuff. I just think to the extent that it's at is probably a little bit manufactured. It's probably a little bit higher than it should be. But that's, like I said, that's just a That's just a hunch. I'm not really looking into it. I don't really care. I don't have any skin in the game. What will be the next shiny thing? Yeah, that's always the question. It was AI, and then it went into metals, and now we're getting into like the subsectors of AI, which are like memory and storage, stuff like that. I think long term, uranium is still doing pretty good because of the data centers needing more power. But a lot of those stocks have already kind of had their move. That idea that uranium was going to be the next big thing, that was a couple of years ago. I've never used Sierra charts, so there's no there's no comparison for me. I was mostly a NinjaTrader user, and then I switched over to Addis. But from what I've seen, there's just really no comparison between Sierra and Addis. Addis seems like it's much more straightforward. You might have more options, more things to do on Sierra, but definitely not as user friendly. I don't remember the exact time I started using Addis, but I think it's been a couple of years at this point. It's probably been 2 or 3 years, but I don't remember exactly. I'd have to go back and check my live streams. Yeah, these are Delta candles, so they're colored based on Delta, not based on price. Holding on to this upper node, by the way, we should have rotated back down to the value low, but it's just not doing it. So they are trying to break balance again. Second attempt here. Yeah, I think Sierra, for the most part, it's kind of like a grandfathered system where the people that use it, they've been using it for years. I don't think it gets a ton of new users. It's not very modern from what I've seen. It's mostly just grandfathered in at this point. Kind of like how I was with NT. NT has become a bit more modern though. It's very similar to Addis. Sierra's half the price of Addis. Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't know that. I don't look at Sierra at all. I've only seen videos on YouTube of people using it. Yeah, that's what everybody says. That's like the idea behind Sierra. It's very sophisticated, but because it's sophisticated, it's not very user friendly. Starting to lose this upper node again. Not finding too many buyers above 10, and which ones they are finding, they are being absorbed. Holding on to kind of where that value low of the candle would be. Which you can turn that on, by the way, if you want to see the value high and the value low. I personally just like eyeballing it. Just seeing where the volume's fallen off. I feel like if I see the exact level that it's giving on the candle, I want to like rely on that exact level. But if I don't have the exact level, I can kind of just like think about it more as a zone. Volume, very good on this candle, by the way. Volume is actually increasing on this candle, which is not usual. It's not usually what you see this time of day. And it's because of VWAP. You had so much volume off of VWAP there. Typically, going into lunchtime, every single candle is going to decrease in volume. Unless there's some kind of news or whatever coming out. Keep it on that value low around 99. That is the more likely thing to happen here because you have that perfect D-shaped profile. Still protecting that pullback here. They're not allowing it to rotate back down. Trying to hold back above the 09 node here. This pullback right here, that was the lower rotation. And you're bouncing off that 24 EMA. So trying to break that rotation here. This is also trading above that Tuesday value. We are technically still retracing Monday's value as well. A little bit of overlap. Keep an eye on that 24 if it does extend here. Now showing a perfect P-shaped profile. That is a very long lower tail. That's about 40 to 50 points. So that would put us at around here if it wants to extend that tail. So I'd say watch that high on 36, possibly 50. And that might be something for tomorrow, but just to keep an eye on it. I stream every Monday through Friday from 9:30 to typically 11:30. And then we finish the stream in the Discord until the close. So in Discord, we stream from 11:30 to 4 p.m. I don't stream weekends. I don't stream trading holidays, so I won't be streaming Monday. And then every few months or so, we typically do like a teaching series of some kind. I try to do like a couple a year. We just finished a very large series, probably my most comprehensive one. We finished it in December. So won't have another series for probably a few months. But I do want to bring back the short form content. So like the recaps and the shorts. We are very close to starting those up again. I want to put out a recap video tomorrow or possibly this weekend. And then we should have time to start pumping the shorts out pretty soon, probably towards the end of the month. We're starting in February. Which, by the way, if you guys are new here and you guys haven't seen my short form content, be sure to check them out. Just little like 2 to 3 minute clips of teaching some kind of concept on stream. A lot of volume profile stuff, a lot of VWAP stuff, rollover tops, single print, stuff like that. Just think of them as like little note cards, basically, little trading note cards. Speaking of shorts, there's like a new thing on YouTube that lets me stream directly to like vertical, like stream to short form. I might try that out next week. We'll see how that goes. I don't really know how it will crop my screen though. I'm guessing it will crop like the middle portion here, but I'm not sure. It would be in addition to the normal stream, by the way. I wouldn't be changing my normal stream. It lets you do them like simultaneously. But I thought that was cool. Trying to break this upper node here. You did repair that poor high. Learned mostly by just watching it throughout the day, every day. But also Dalton's books for the concepts. If you need help with like the shapes and the different concepts and whatnot. Dalton has a couple of good books on it. Mind over markets, markets and profile. Very weak buyer delta up here. We're currently at 91 likes. If you guys can get that over 100, we'll do another Apex account giveaway. Before we go ahead and call it a stream today. All right, I appreciate that, guys. We are over 100. Same thing we always do. If you pick a number between 1 through 50, just pick one number. If you pick multiple, you're disqualified. Pick any number 1 through 50. And I'll go ahead and start rolling in a couple minutes. This is going to be for a free 30-day Apex account. So any size you want, you just put in a promo code. It gives you a free account for 30 days. And then after that 30 days, it will charge you full price or half price, I believe. So make sure to go back to the brew code. which, by the way, if you guys are using the brew code in January, we are going back to our normal raffles that we do every month. I take all the receipts from you guys at the end of the month. I give you raffle tickets, and we give away cash prizes and Discord access. So if you're using the code, just make sure to hold on to those receipts. I'll get those from you in probably, a week or two. Hey, Millennial, I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoy the content, man. Do I only call stuff out for ES? No, I do ES and NASDAQ, just mostly ES. Every now and then we call out oil and gold and Bitcoin, stuff like that. Pick one number, guys, 1 through 50. If you guys tie, we'll do a tiebreaker. I'm going to roll it at 11:30. Just have your number picked by 11:30. Still holding above the 24 EMA and the 5-minute lows here. So still threatening to break balance. It's also nearly shifting the POC to that 10 node. NASDAQ trying to hold the 24 as well. Not as vertical. Rolling at 11:30. Good luck, guys. All right, here we go. Good luck, good luck. 46. Let's see here. Crazy enough, I don't think anybody picked 46. Let me see here. I don't think anyone picked 46. I'm going to re-roll. If I miss your number, just let me know, like, hey, I won. I can double check. Obviously, don't just lie about it, because I can just confirm it. But please let me know if I miss you. I don't see any 46s. All right, good luck. I'm going to roll again. 48 this time. I think we also don't have a 48. All right, today's an unlucky day. Okay, I also don't see a 48. I'm going to roll again. 39. Let's see. We do have a 39, Maverick. Do we have multiple 39s? I think it's just you, Maverick. Is there anybody else? Am I missing somebody? Ordinary. Ordinary has 39 as well. Good thing I double checked. So Ordinary and Maverick, are you guys here? I see Ordinary. Are you here, Maverick? If you guys are heading out, I appreciate you being here. I will be streaming tomorrow, same time as always. If you guys enjoy the content, just hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. Let me know if you're here, Maverick. If you're not, I'm just going to give it to Ordinary. Putting in a lower high here on that 1 minute. Keep an eye on those 5-minute lows. To account for the stream delay, I'm going to give you 30 more seconds, Maverick, but if you don't respond, Ordinary's just going to win. You got like 10 more seconds, Maverick. Maverick 2047. All right, I feel like I gave you enough time, Ordinary. You win by default. Let me get my email ready for you. Yeah, make sure when we're doing these giveaways, guys, you press the live button on my stream to make sure you don't have a long-ass delay. Do it on email, Ordinary. I know you're in Discord, but just so I keep it all in the same place, it just makes it easier. Yeah, Ordinary's been here for a while, yeah. Yeah, I appreciate you guys hanging out. A lot of you guys have been in here for years. Which just trading for years by itself is hard. The fact that you guys are not only trading for years, but also hanging out in the community for years is definitely awesome. I just almost subconsciously sent you a random number that was also 39. I sent you a different random number, just type it in chat. Gotcha, Ordinary. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and send you the code. You just use the code the same way you use the brew code. So just pick an account you want to sign up for, put the code in, and it will give you a free account for 30 days. And then after that, it will start charging you normally. So if you don't pass it before that renewal, just go ahead and cancel it and go back to the brew code. But all right, guys, I appreciate you being here. I will be streaming tomorrow. We'll do another giveaway tomorrow if we hit 100 likes. If you guys are in Discord, I will be streaming there for the rest of the day. If you guys are not in Discord, I'll see you guys tomorrow. By the way, we are just in an absolutely perfect D-shaped profile that's slightly imbalanced now. You're trying to break to the upside. So they're protecting the lows a little bit here. But if they stop protecting these 5-minute lows, they stop protecting the 24 EMA and also VWAP on NASDAQ, then it's probably going to come back down and just keep rotating. So just watch those rotations until obviously it breaks out of it. But all right, guys, I'll see you in Discord. By the way, guys, Apex still 80% off, $35 resets. You guys know where to find the links. Add us in Discord down below. Peace, everybody.